Hello and welcome. My name is John Dickinson for Boris Effects, and in this particle illusion tutorial, our focus will be on the beating heart of particle illusion, which is the presets. I'm going to show you how to search for presets and also how to save your own custom emitter. So let's get started. Particle illusion includes a wide variety of presets, and choosing the right preset can save you a lot of time. And the quickest way to find a preset is to use the Search Emitters option in the library browser. I'm searching for a specific emitter named Sparkle Dots. This one down here, Sparkle Dots 01. Now currently we're viewing this in tree view. There's also a list view. And notice how when I click that, it disappears. That's because the favorites button is active. Let me just uncheck that. And now we can see it. And there's also a grid view. So the list and the grid views both have the favorites option. So if I want to make this a favorite, I make sure it's selected, then come up here and click on this star. And now when I'm in list or grid view and the favorites button is checked, I can see my favorite. But you won't see the favorites in tree view. Let's add a few more to favorites. I'm going to search for Glass Gunshot, this one here. And if I click up here in the preview, I can get a nice preview and see how that looks. Bam, 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 bam. Click on the star. You can see that pops up in favorites. And one more. Vector Bang. There's a couple of the ones I really like. I'll make sure that's a favorite as well. Just going to clear that search now. Now when I come to my list view and my grid view, there's my favorites. And I can change the thumbnail size just by dragging this slider. I'm going to stop that preview. I'm going to come back to tree view. Now you may have noticed this padlock. These signify that this is an installed library, and you can't change these libraries. But you can add the emitter to the stage, make adjustments, and then save that in your custom library. So if I search for custom, notice how the custom library doesn't have a padlock. And the custom library comes with a range of basic starting points, and it's also the place where you will save your custom emitters. You can also create your own custom libraries by doing that at the desktop level. You need to navigate to the User Emitter Libraries folder. On Windows, that's in your local disk, in Program Data, Boris Effects User Emitter Libraries. And on Mac, that's Library, Application Support, Boris Effects User Emitter Libraries. If I just select this one, hold down Control and copy it, and just rename this, I'll call this JD. Now I will have to restart Particle Illusion, so I'll just pause for a moment, and I'm back. So if I search for Custom, you can see we now have the custom library and the JD library. Now I don't want all of these custom emitters in my library, so I'm just going to delete them just by selecting and hitting delete. Now if I try to delete the last emitter, I will get a warning saying you cannot delete the last emitter from a library, but that's okay because I'm about to create a custom preset, and that will be the single emitter in this library, allowing me to delete this one. Something just to note while I have this emitter selected is if I hit the Enter key, I can actually rename this emitter and also change the tags. Just cancel that for now. Okay, so now let's create and save a custom emitter. Just going to clear this search and come to my favorites. And I'm going to use Sparkle Dots, this one here. And we're going to modify this one to create some welding sparks. Double click to add that to the stage. And we can leave that playing while we're making adjustments. Let's see, I'm going to come down to the dots. I may just rename this. Sparks. And I'll start off by decreasing the number. There's way too many there. Just drop that right down. Don't need as many sparks. I want to increase the velocity. And it's nice being able to play this back as I'm making adjustments. That's pretty good. Now the size is too big. I'll just drop that down. Just want little sparks. Something like that. We need some weight, so I'll increase the weight. I'll shoot out and then drop down. Starting to look good. Maybe increase the velocity variation. And also the weight variation. Adding a little variation can make a big difference. Life variation. Okay, something like that. I want to now twirl down properties and just get rid of the white in the gradient. So I'm going to twirl down colors, click on the gradient, and I don't need white. I just want to maybe replace that with red. Okay, looking good. I'll just bring this yellow stop right to the end. Okay, that's looking good. So I'm going to apply that and just check intense. We're not going to see a huge difference with intense turned on, not with these particles, because there's not very many of them actually overlapping, but we will when we duplicate this particle in a moment. Might just increase the number just a little. Okay, something like that. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this now. Just twirl this up and duplicate the particle type. I could rename this one. Definitely helps to name as you go. So I'll rename this one Heavy Sparks. And I want to decrease the velocity for these ones. That's good. And maybe increase the weight slightly. They're dropping down closer to the source just there. Maybe increase the size. And notice how the intensity is starting to become more obvious now. That's better. That's good. Okay, now I'm actually previewing this with motion blur. Let me just turn that off. That's how it looks without motion blur. And with motion blur, if you want to adjust the motion blur settings, just come up to the View menu and choose Project Settings. I've got mine set at 16. The default is 4, so let me just change that back to 4 and apply. And you will start seeing separation. So I definitely prefer that at a larger amount, especially for this kind of look. You don't want to use too much, just enough to disguise the separation. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to leave that there, come up to the emitter hamburger menu, and choose Save to Emitter Library. Give this a name. I'll call it Welding Sparks. Maybe change some of the tags. I'll call this one Hot. Add red, something like that. And I'm going to place this in the JD library and click Save. So now if we come over and do another search for custom, come into Tree View, there's my Welding Sparks. I might actually make this a favorite. And once again, now I can see this in list and grid views. Just making sure I clear my search. And there's my Welding Sparks. Now this is previewing with motion blur because I have this motion blur toggle checked. You can also change the background color if you prefer to preview it on a different, more suitable color. Mine looks good on black. Maybe I could change it to, I don't know, a brown. Something like that. And you can also change the thumbnail for the saved emitter. When you're working with custom emitters, this camera becomes available, and this allows you to update the emitter thumbnail. So while that's playing back, if I just click that camera, you can see my thumbnail updates. But I'm going to change this one back to black. And click again. Okay, so definitely spend some time now exploring the presets to get an idea of what's in the library. And if you find looks that you like, make them favorites now, and you'll have them right at your fingertips for when you're working later. You can download Particle Illusions standalone for free at boriseffects.com, including thousands of free particle emitter presets. Continue watching this Getting Started tutorial series to learn more about what you can do with particle illusion and find out more about the plug-in version of particle illusion with extra features, including built-in Mocha motion tracking at boriseffects.com.